What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Free Game Productions, Free Game Media, Free Game. Concept of it is it's free, unrestricted, imprisoned, like out of prison, unrestrained, game, something that has a point to it, a start, an end, and then production, the releasing. Andre and I met at an airport, and actually right before we met, Andre was talking to somebody that was wearing, like, I don't know how to put it, in like just a cookies jersey, just kind of like, just looks like a traditional dirty hippie, but like cool dude. And Andre was talking to him, and Danielle looked at me and was like, I bet you'd be friends with that guy. And then it just so happened when we got off the plane, we became friends. Andre, his sister, and a group from Fit for Service gave us a ride. It's Andre Carmack. Introduce yourself, and thanks so much. We manifested this like crazy.
Bro, it's real. It's a dream come true, man. I've been waiting a long time. This the debut, like you said, man. We've been preparing all our lives for this, man. And shout out to Burner and the cookies, cause
yeah. Dude, it was yeah.
But yeah, man, it's an honor and blessing to be in your presence, bro. The flavor that you bring to it, what we doing here really is free game.
This is literally what we talked about in yours and my question with Makad Brooks, which we'll get down to later. But when Andre was giving us a ride, he ended up giving us a ride like an hour out of his way, I think, 2 different times, on the way there and on the way back. But you told a story about your awakening and kind of what your background was like to getting in trouble to now being deep in the spiritual paths. What was your awakening like?
Man, it's like I always had these conversations with myself, and it's like, what's my purpose? What am I gonna do? I just knew I would always become the man that I am today, and it's taken a lot of work to win those little battles and to get there. But my purpose in life is to be the role model that I never had, and to really know that I'm walking that path now. Like, nothing can stop me from attaining my success.
And that's something you and I talked about a lot, was kind of like masculinity and how
man.
I'll give you something to cry about. I just remember that in particular. Tell me about like.
Yeah, so growing up, I didn't have, product of a single mother. My mom raised 2 kids in Kennesaw, never made more than $35,000 in her life. It's a fucking magic trick. Like, I don't know, there's some shit that I couldn't even fathom, and she pulled it off,
And your sister seems real cool, put together too. So good.
She's of the same DNA. She had a good role model all her life. No, my sister's amazing, man. She's really just, we grew up without a father, so it was always bashing the masculine. My mom never brought a man around us, so I never, I subconsciously, it's like no man's good enough. I don't think I'm good enough,
That's deep.
Yeah, man. It's that's part of the story, the process, and what masculinity is. It's they were taught, shut the hell up before we say something again. I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Stop crying. I remember being 8 years old, like nobody ever see me cry, just hardened so hard that, like, thinking that that's what a man is the inability to show emotion, or you don't have to, and bottling that shit up. Like, find these ways to express those deep buried emotions has been so freeing and rewarding. And it started for me with asthma. I grew up as an asthmatic all my life. The fear of being able to breathe in every situation. If you didn't have something, your inhaler, or worried about some external outside of me all my life. And that's just being literally uncomfortable about whether or not I could die all my life. It just gave me so much strength.
And you played football too, right?
Yeah. D2, college athlete, Valdosta State.
Nice. So you were dealing with the asthma. That's really interesting. So immediately when you said that, I thought of Peter Crone. For anybody that doesn't know, Peter Crone is a mind architect, and he really, literally, like, groundbreaking genius. Yeah. But you were saying, like, how you couldn't breathe and how that was taken from you. It's almost like you couldn't breathe, like your body meant. Did you ever like kind of think about that?
No, not one bit. I couldn't breathe, and like it.
Like your breath was taken away.
And that mind construct, though, it's like that's what they planted at such a young age, that you would always be relying on something else, that I'm not in control of it. I didn't know what it's like to really control my breath till I was in my 30s. And like they'll pump me full of steroids, all kind of medications all my life. I didn't know what the hell breathing in your diaphragm was till I was in my 30s.
How did you end up learning?
Bro, yoga practice. I really it was offering yoga in my office one day. Went down there and really, as soon as I started yoga, I stuck with it. You know, that first time, December 2019 is when I started yoga, and it really.
Oh, so okay, no shit. So that's only like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it opened it up for me. Straight up.
So those of you guys that don't know Andre, he is gung-ho when he gets into something.
All in on all in, baby.
All in, you definitely did. I dig it, because since we've met, like, you're like, yo, what can I do to help the church? What can I do to, like, help all these things? I'm spreading the word. You know, you're talking to people we want to talk to. You're trying to help us get into Gaia. You're trying to do all these different things,
We're here.
which we appreciate. I dig it. So that makes sense. So you just started when 110%, which seems like a theme of your life. So with your background, I know Maria told me personally that you have changed dramatically, and she said it's nice, but she's still kind of like, uncertain. She said you used to be really hard on her as a big brother. I'm assuming ayahuasca was a big part of that, or what do you think the biggest change was? Was it yoga? Was it personal? I mean, everything's personal, right?
Just to give you, so yoga taught me how to breathe a little bit. I was baptized May of 2021.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah, May of 2021, baptized in Tampa. Really started finding synchronization of my story in the Bible first. The book of Paul really resonated. One of my best friends killed himself, Paul Oliver. Rest in peace. Shout out to the boys. They're balling. I know he's so proud. His purpose here on this earth was completed, and he had to ascend to the next the next dimension. But so I was finding the synchronization of my story in the Bible. Then was introduced to Aubrey Marcus. First time I heard about ayahuasca was end of 2022. End of 2021.
And how many times have you done it now? Just so everybody knows how gung-ho you are.
Oh, yeah. So I've I've had 4 ceremonies now with 11 drinks.
Okay.
I went to Colombia for the first time. A guy named Sean Chester, the Native Guides. Just completely, my first experience going to the jungle, man. I never camped outside, and to go sleep in a hammock in a maloca through the night.
Is that the pictures we have?
Yeah, we have some pictures of that.
So you want to pull those up, please? But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so first experience, it really was, it was all men on the trip, man. It was really rough, rugged a little bit, it wasn't easy. I about washed down the Amazon at one point in time, walking through some rocks, but man, it really, ayahuasca really helped me remember who I am genetically, and not having any male role models, not knowing who my grandfathers were, not having my father in my life, not knowing any other stories of what they've done, to have the realization that they are me and like really feel them in me. And feel the support that they have in me and like the sacrifices they've made for me to be here. It was just an amazing, like, I'm just so blessed to be me finally. I've had those insecurities, never black enough, just the epigenetics we talked briefly about before. But yeah, I'm a mutt of the world, and I'm fucking love it. And what I represent, like, is I just feel like my purpose is to just unite through my body, just be this conduit, just have this love, vibrated so much love that it just is infectious to everybody that I'm with. But yeah, that's what Aya's treat. That's definitely just a little shift of perspective changes the vantage point, man. And it's really just changed my life in all the best ways. It's just been so cleansing and dealing with death, treating death as an ally, understanding, just, it's been the master teacher plant, the best nourishing psychotherapy I could ever imagine.
Have you ever read the 49th Mystic?
I have not.
Dude, you got to read it.
Okay.
It's like an esoteric spiritual parallel worlds, and in it she meets Yeshua. In it he's doing his verses like from the Bible, and a lot of it is from Paul, and a lot of it is, you guys have, like, they show like the actual translation. So instead of repent, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, the word is metanoia, which means alter your perception. You don't see heaven because of your perception. They see, but they don't see. They hear, but they don't hear. Right? Like all these different things. And what you just said made me literally think of that.
Yeah, you can't tell me heaven's not right here on earth right now.
Exactly. It's our perception. So for the people that are unfamiliar with it, what Andre and I were talking about before we got on camera was a little bit of epigenetics. So there's been, I got to look up the names of studies, but there's been a couple of different studies, and they showed that DNA actually stores memory.
Tons, yeah.
Tons.
What really taught me is a book called It Didn't Start With You. I can't remember the lady's name, but incredible book, read it pre-Aya.
That's great to read before ayahuasca.
Picking up books for the first time, though. 75 Hard, Andy Frisella's.
Dude, 75 Hard is amazing.
That's what got me into reading. That's what got my spiritual awakening. I've always just been this head down football player, athlete, tell myself I'm not smart, I'm not, and I'm a CPA. I know I'm, right. But it's not like, that's not me, and now it's like, no, you're everything. Read too, and just the timing of these books. But It Didn't Start With You just helped me process so much inherited trauma from this generation. And being of darker skin, we've dealt with a lot of shit, and I'm light skinned. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Like, it's incredible though when you're able to create some distance from the emotions and the baggage and know that yes, that is true, but it's all been invested in you to change the story now.
I had a buddy, my friend Troy Hines. He was in the Nation at one point, but he told me like, he's the first person that I heard say like about genetics having memory, and he said a lot of black people are afraid of the smell of burning metal, because what they used to do with slaves was like a burning mask and put it on them, and it's literally in their DNA.
Oof.
And yeah, and he was telling me all this stuff, and it's wild, like how you might be afraid of heights because one of your ancestors fell off of like a height or something like that, right? And everything starts to make a little more sense, you know what I mean? And nothing happens to you, it all happens for you. I mean, I can't speak for the black experience, but obviously that's a probably more difficult one to juggle with. But either way, like it's an interesting thing to kind of process. And then for those of you that are unfamiliar, or even if you are, epigenetics is something that was proven in the Harvard Genome Project, and the concept is you can change your genetics in your own lifetime. So Joe Dispenza does it a lot with like the placebo effect and stuff like that. I gotta ask a question though, like it didn't start with you. How much did that affect your ayahuasca trip? That must have really helped with awareness.
Yeah, that's it. I started a meditation. I quit smoking weed for the first time in a minute, as pre-Aya, took the diet, the prep work very seriously. When you quit smoking weed, dreams go crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
but yeah, so taking the diet to so important, was so essential for me, and then conscientious of what you're putting in your mind via books, like through your ears, everything. Like the medicine was working with me before I even talked to her, and I had a different perspective on everything that I was consuming from all the environment that I'm around. Like really, music programs, the subconscious.
Yeah.
I love Atlanta hip hop. We're in the capital, but it's just understanding that wiring of your subconscious is like that's what I've been able to do via these medicines, is rewire the subconscious and relearn everything, evaluate your triggers, and not operating in this subconscious frequency all the time. And you can't see the magic in the mundane. You don't see the magic in the mundane. Or the key is to keep the ceremony alive in the mundane, but you can't see the magic in your comfort zone, and then when your subconscious is just at work. The divine isn't going to show itself if you're in some comfortable setting. Like once you get out there and explore and really calibrate to that, it's just magic surrounded by us.
I like the term ordinary magic.
Ordinary magic,
right?
I love it.
Everything. When you treat everything sacred, everything's sacred. And that's how I've gotten more synchronicities, is when I treat everything sacred. I go on walks and just get mad synchronicities.
Bro. 75 hard got me outside, bro. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a huge walker now, honestly, because of 75 hard.
Yeah.
So how did you find Aya?
Man, Aubrey's podcast. Really, I just when I first heard Aubrey speak, it was something like, damn, like okay, this guy's I resonate with everything. We kind of defined success the same earlier in our years, and it's like, okay, you've on it, you move past. Let me explore. Let me see. Didn't hear about him till the end of 2021. Ended up meeting him in 2022. Then he had a podcast with Sean Chester, the Native Guides. And his story, if you didn't know, he worked for Wynn Hotels. He was out there all over developing Wynn Hotels around the world. And he's just got into some crazy situations that I can't even begin to articulate. He's dedicated his life to this medicine path, and I really resonated with his story. We ended up having an hour FaceTime, actually. It's crazy. First time I met him, I'm outside of the strip club crying in Tampa. Like, just the timing of everything again, like the synchronicity.
Talk about irony.
Yeah, right.
Talk
you know
about
what I mean?
irony.
Like, just the first phone call, we ended up speaking for an hour. And
A guy who doesn't want to show emotions is crying outside of a strip club on a FaceTime with a dude he doesn't know.
Straight up, man. I didn't even think about it like that. But yeah, straight up. That's it.
I'm convinced God has a sense of humor.
Straight up, yeah, that's it.
So that's how you found ayahuasca. How did ayahuasca help you find you?
Man, just all those ways, remembering who I am genetically. Remember getting, like, to think that these little rational minds is the only thing working for us. Like, it's the only thing you have. If you're not, it's a misconception, man. Once you vibrate at that frequency of love and you just receive the support of everything, like, get out your own way, man. It's helped me, the gratitude I have for everything. The alchemy, like, revisiting these traumatic situations and understanding that was my blessing. That's what makes me so unique from, being in jail, for, like, just fucked with for weed all my life. Like, almost lost it all behind weed several times. And now it's legal, just in South Georgia, though. It wasn't playing no games. We got our door kicked in for, like, a QP or something. But I did have that perk. I was the first one in Mount Austin with the perk. But,
Was that when you were in college?
Yeah, when I was in college, man. And, marijuana gave me an identity post athletics.
Okay.
So that's what I read. Just be the guy with the good weed. But so it didn't, not giving that medicine the respect and reverence it reserves earlier in my life too, is that shift of perspective now, understanding that we're consuming spirits from everything we eat. Whatever you consume, you're gonna eat something that's dead, manufacturers in this stale box for years, or you're gonna eat something that retained life, that had sun, that drank water, and just understanding that literally everything we consume is part of the game.
Right. I my relationship with weed changed. I want to say 2019, 2020, probably around the time that I really got into mushrooms. And now, especially when I do ayahuasca and I use cannabis as like a connection point, like I just treat it so differently. And it's wild. Like, it kind of goes back to what we were saying before. Things are sacred that you treat sacred.
Sure enough.
Things that you don't treat sacred aren't sacred. You could be married, and if you treat it like shit, it's not a sacred marriage.
Yeah.
But if you treat it sacred, then it's sacred. Relationships, anything like that.
Yeah, a little bit of intent, man. Just putting in a little bit of intent of everything that you do just really changes it, man.
So I got to ask too, because I know you're a CPA and you work. We won't say the company name, but I know you work with big companies.
Yeah.
But you still have the freedom to try. Like, you just got back from the psychedelic conference in Denver, right?
Yeah. Man,
what is that like with them? Obviously, they have to be aware of your passion for psychedelics.
Yeah.
How has that been? And was it always that way? Because I have a similar kind of thing.
Yeah, no. So, it was, working as CPA in public accounting for a majority of my professional career, you 65, 70 hours a week, just doing everything. You sell your soul sell your time, your most valuable asset, your time and attention, just for the dollar, man. So I was always just chasing money, just always chasing money. And now I'm at a point where I didn't have to chase the money, and I can really prioritize myself and understand that in doing so, I make myself more valuable to the company. and I'm more worthy. And now how I've evolved in my role and more from, you know, acquiring land, doing more business development activities is something that I've been working towards and manifesting my whole life. And knowing that, yeah, the energy of what you put off in the corporate space is important as well. When people are going in the office depressed and tense and
Dude, it's everything.
Yeah.
People don't realize how much that affects sales. It's all sales is just transfer of energy.
There it is. And so I've always been like, you know, that glue, that centerpiece, and it's also I'm the only black guy in the office. but so
common theme for you.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just yeah, man, I'm just really prioritizing myself. If I'm not the guy for the job, I'm not the guy for the job. But when I'm there, when I'm in tune, like I'm on it. I'm all in. Like I'm doing everything I can, extending. And really, I've played so many roles and characters in my life to truly just integrate it into who I truly am. It's so rewarding, and it's like for the first time. So, you know, it's just, I'm here, man. Like, this is me.
And then, so Jacob, there's a really cool picture of Andre and Makad Brooks. When we were at Aubrey's event in Montana, Makad and Aubrey are really good friends. Andre and Makad had a really cool moment. And basically what Andre asked Makad was, he was like, yo, I'm the only brother here. Like, I need to see more guys like you up here. Yeah. Anybody that doesn't know Makad Brooks or hasn't had the opportunity to actually hear him speak outside of acting, the dude is deep. Man, like, wildly like, I couldn't believe how intelligent he was.
Incredible.
Like, quantum physics nerd, despite the fact that he plays Jax, like the giant Jack dude.
He's a big boy.
And you and him had a really cool moment. What I'm thinking now is like what you said before and what you kind of said off camera is, you know, your grandparents, people like that, being told they weren't black enough and stuff like that. Yeah. So you always being an outsider, no matter what room you're in,
yep,
has to be preparing you for your role. I don't know if you know what your role is, and if you don't, obviously we're still in the middle of the journey, but yeah, like that's an interesting concept that like it's been carried and passed down to you, and now in our current society you could use that to your advantage. Because not only do you stand out, but you're almost used to it.
Well, that is exactly the feeling that I've realized lately. Being able to add value to every room that I'm in. And yet, it's hard being the only black guy a lot of times. You know, am I looked at as the predator? Or what am I, you know? I was arrested one time. They described me in court as, my nickname is Boomer. An intimidating black male called Boomer. That's how they announced me before they said my name, before anything. So I've always been this big black guy that's a predator, you know what I mean? And so my family, like my grandma was.
Where did Boomer come from?
It's just a nickname that stuck with me all my life.
Because I mean, they thought of Boomer Esiason and like the whitest guy ever.
Yeah, football though.
Yeah.
Maybe my father. I think my father gave me that nickname.
Boomer,
just a nickname that stuck with me. Yeah, so, man, just being it's like you said, bro, what an opportunity I have to have been uncomfortable. My grandma passed as a white lady during segregation. She had to tell the bus driver that she is black to remain on the back of the bus. Oh, you should have seen the look on his face. She'll be 101 years old, July 28th. Yeah. Still here, receiving the blessings of my grandmother, man. It's such a powerful thing, man. I'm just so grateful for this, to still have this, to know I'm the manifestation of her dreams.
That is wild. So she's 101. What is she in good shape?
She did have a stroke probably 15 years ago now. She's not as mobile, but she feeds herself, bathes herself. She's still doing good. My mom's doing miracle work, you know, taking care of her. Yeah.
So your mom's had it tough.
Yeah. She lost her father at 12, you know, made fun of. She was never black enough. My father, my other grandmother was from the Philippines. Left at 16, never saw her family again with an American soldier. American soldier got a 16-year-old girl pregnant, shipped her to Pittsburgh, built their house by hand. They had about 10 kids, and it just made it work. They were made fun of for being chinky-eyed or whatever, Asian, and it's like epigenetics understanding. Of course you're not going to feel black enough. It's like your grandma had to. Then I'm raising what society calls a white girl right now, too. So it's just
I saw the picture of her. She looks white.
Yeah, it's so.
Is she biologically your daughter?
Yeah.
No shit. She's got like blonde hair.
Yeah, blonde hair, blue-eyed baby girl, man. Yep.
Dude, you are An interesting game God gave you.
Yes, this is just like you said, though. What an opportunity
What
I
an
have.
opportunity.
I've been prepared for this all of my life in my body, so I'm willing to get uncomfortable to go to. You know, I've been on both sides of the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been on both sides of the courtroom. Damn.
Yeah, so you went from jail to a CPA, which is like probably one of the nerdiest sounding jobs there is.
For sure. And I've definitely been told I'm not an accountant, or can't believe I'm an accountant.
Right, so in the accountant room, I'm sure you're the black guy there. And then that's
so
a really...
going into the spiritual community then too. It's just been like this elitist society where, you know, shit, most people can't even fathom spending $2,000 on themselves for a vacation or a trip, let alone 5, 10, what these communities are costing. Yeah, you know. But man, I'm just so grateful to have been like to infiltrate all of these areas now with just who I am and what I represent. And it's coming from love, so much love and curiosity. And
which transcends race.
Yes.
It's a higher vibration.
And it's just, I'm so grateful to be this conduit across so many different demographics. They say a chakruna, a bridge person.
Chakruna?
Yeah, and I know that's me.
I like that. Yeah. For sure. 100%.
Yeah, I know that's me.
And having those experiences is perfect for a bridge. It's necessary, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, how else would people relate? You can relate to so many different people
exactly
at the same time. Exactly. And people that aren't relatable, hey, I get it. I felt that way too.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Chakruna. An interesting thing too, kind of with the spiritual community, we spoke about it a little bit, is at least my experience with a lot of people in the spiritual community is almost like Gnostics. They almost look down on material or the physical world, right? And there's a saying I've heard, and it's "Don't be so heavenly that you're useless here on earth."
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like Maslow's hierarchy. The first thing you got to do is you do have to be a hustler. Before you can be spiritual, you got to create your physical safety.
For sure.
And money, you almost need to earn the right for the spirituality. In my opinion, you don't have to, but it's much easier if you do it that way.
Yeah.
You don't have to abandon spirituality, but you're going to have to work 60 hours a week. You're going to have to do some shit to make some money.
Yeah.
Like, I have this podcast that I can now spread these messages because I hustled my fucking ass off. Yeah, like, sure. I lived out of an office. You know what I mean? Like, shit isn't free. And you can't just sit down. Maybe you can. I haven't figured out how to, but you can't just sit down and manifest it like that.
No, man. It takes action.
It takes action.
It takes action. And the temples, the bodies, like to move your body, these expressions of things that are just bottled up within you. Like, I feel there's so many different modalities. What a time to be alive. Like, we have all the healing modalities and practices, from yoga to breathwork to plant medicines to somatic relief, myofascia, everything you can fucking imagine. Well, and we've got it all here. We just got to get uncomfortable and like allow yourself, whether if you're not working 60 hours a week and you have the time to go for a walk, go for it. Pick up a book. If you don't read, pick up a book. Like, journal. Don't say, I've told myself I'm not a writer. I know I don't, my journal's lasted me 3 years now. I know, but still getting a little something in every week, you know, it's just.
I got to start writing again. That's like my thing too.
Yeah. It's just the stories we tell ourselves, bro. I had my last ceremony actually went crazy on the journaling, man. Like, it was really something transmuting through me. It's gonna take some time to decipher all of the notes, man. But
I used to use this for ceremonies. That's like a double helix I was seeing in the sky. Nice. I got to send money to the Taita. So my Taita like sends me messages in the clouds, in the sky, and I just know. No. And I was doing like a mushroom ceremony, and I was like, shit, the Taita needs money. And I sent him money, and I hit him up after. He was like, yeah, I sent you a message. But yeah, it's funny. Like,
right, that's amazing, bro.
Because the gift our spirit is given is the physical world to play in. And the gift our body is given is the spiritual world to understand from.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, you with your background is being a bridge. Do you have, and if you do, you don't have to necessarily explain them here, but do you have any, like, long-term plans you want to do?
Yeah, man. For me, it's really make all these communities accessible, create synergy across all of us. It's like all of our dreams are aligning, and it's time. You know, we have to get out of this egoic construct of control, like I have to do it, and really rely on your brothers and sisters across the world, and like to be this manifestation of the divine masculine, the blessings that I receive from the leaders around from Hawaii. I just got back from Maui recently.
That looked beautiful.
Place.
Sean was there, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sean
Chatterton.
was there. Sean was there as well.
Not Chatterton, Ashcraft.
Sean Ashcraft is there with us.
Chatterton's a dude I know from work.
Yeah. So Sean was there. My coach John lives there, man. They're doing incredible work. Really tapped in with the indigenous there, man. The guys.
That's such a cool
just
culture.
demanded. You see, I've seen the Samoan stuff on, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, they demand. These guys were ready to work our asses off. I tell you, we didn't have the right shoes to get in the water to carry the rocks where they wanted us to put them. I got little tender feet stepping on sea urchins. Does not sound appealing to me, but man, we canoed some boats to the other side of the thing for them. And for me, having that Pacific Islander heritage, I've never been in a canoe before.
Oh yeah, Philippines.
Yeah. So the Filipino in me, and to be out there really for the first time, really getting the breakdown of it. It was really a special moment with the indigenous out there as well, and just trying to restore the kingdom of Hawaii and just protect it. Just to know, man, I couldn't even imagine going to Hawaii. I've never been to Disney World, you know what I mean? And like going to Hawaii now, all these places. I've been to Colombia, Brazil, Costa Rica, Peru, Hawaii. All since since last May, right? I'm literally living my dream life, man, and really tapping in with indigenous people and like people that have seen me in ways that my family doesn't even see me, you know, that nobody's ever seen me, and it's just such a reward and privilege to be seen in these ways, have these opportunities, and walk confidently and be a heart-led leader everywhere I go, you know, and it's really just. Like I know my powers now, I know my purpose, and it's just amazing.
So it's interesting. Before you were saying like, a lot of people can't afford to do these, but at the same time, I was just thinking like, these trips are definitely expensive. But a lot of people go to Vegas.
Straight up.
A lot of people go to Cancun.
We wired.
A lot of people go to like.
A lot of people spend $200-300 every night at the local bar.
So they could. Like, it's just what they prioritize.
It's just that. Yeah. It's just that shift of mindset.
$2 or $3 grand, like it's the best vacation you can ever have. You find yourself. Yeah. You get healthier when you're there.
For sure.
Your mental health.
For sure.
The amount of academic research and scholarly journals and medical research that shows how this helps your brain, your mentality. And they don't know how to test if it helps your soul. But the word psyche, we associate with mind, right?
Yeah.
Psyche was the goddess of soul. For the Greeks, the soul and the mind were intricately connected. You couldn't, if your soul wasn't right, then your mind wasn't right. And if your mind wasn't right, then your soul's not right.
Makes sense to me.
And she marries Eros, the god of love, which is really interesting, right? It's hard to have that love if your mind and soul aren't right.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like that triumvirate, or keeping it together. Actually, the reason I'm researched on that is our mission statement for our church, Spirit of the Phoenix, is reconnecting people with their psyche, because I wanted the mind and soul connection.
Yeah, and it's so necessary. There's so many people that we're in these self-imposed prisons, man, these self-imposed limitations, and there's so many tools like right underneath your nose. As soon as you.
So how do you get, this is a conversation that I'm always in. So what's funny is that balance beam over there, it says follow the breadcrumbs. I had these fitness guys in Sauna Poppy. There's a sauna out there.
Yeah.
They do a bunch of like sauna stuff. They never do like mushrooms and stuff. And they came over, and in it, they had these crazy synchronicities. Sauna Poppy met Jesus. Obviously, we called Jesus into the ceremony, and he like got to da-da-da. And there was these signs, and it was like, da-da-da, we got to get there. And they're like, then what? I was like, I don't know, you just follow the breadcrumbs. And I was like, these little synchronicities, they're God's breadcrumbs. And they were like, well, then what after that? And I was like, I don't know, you get the next one when you get there.
For sure, bro.
Like,
it feels like the path of alignment to me.
It is the path of alignment. It's attunement, it's alignment. And for anybody listening, my suggestion is, I had a physicist on my podcast out of the studio. And he said, the reason I get so many synchronicities and why you probably get so many now, and maybe you didn't before, you didn't recognize them, is because I'm in coherence. And he said the way coherence works in the body or in the soul is when your mind, your thought, and your actions are all aligned.
For sure.
Then you have coherence. It's like a channel changer. Like the signal has to be coherent for it to be received.
Makes sense. That attitude of gratitude, man. It's just, but then taking action.
Yeah. So how do we? This is like one of my favorite questions because there's no right answer. But how do we spread this without forcing it? Because if we push too hard, natural reaction is to push back.
Exactly. I've had some of my close friends say the more passionate I am about it, the more it turns them off. And it's the people that love me the most, you know. And it's not to have that support. But I believe it's monkey see, monkey do. And like for now,
give it 5 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And when your life is completely different in 5 years, because that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no worries, bro.
So give me some examples of that, because I went through that hard, like from 2007 to about 2014. My family and everybody thought I went crazy. Worst fight I ever got in with my parents.
Yeah.
I wasn't where I'm at now, and I didn't have the vocabulary I have now. And
yeah. For me, I love my parents. My mom did magic, but we have to connect.
Did you say she did magic?
No, she did. Yeah, she did do magic with raising us.
Oh,
you
okay,
know?
yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm trying to just have the patience and know that she like deal with her traumas and try to show her what worked for me, and it's just through embodiment, man. We have to just really just pass it on, but my mom, I'm gonna get her into these plant medicines very soon, just because of the impact that it's had on me and my perspective, and really just knowing that a lot of people are living in a past story, and the story's not here. You're not finished. We're here right now. You know, let's be present, and the present is the present. You know, that's all we have. The past, whatever we think is facts of the past, isn't even all the way truth. We know that little perspective, what we're taking from it, is not even real, and yet we just spend so much time in the past and in the future, and getting my people around me to realize that and understand that is my goal. And so really, when you're around me, I don't want us to be on the phones the whole time. Like just really being present, really doing things, uncomfortable things, like vulnerable. I'm bringing up these conversations with everybody. That's all, in work conversations, corporate settings, everything. And it's just like, this is what I'm passionate about. It's flowing through me, and how it's received. So it's not always welcomely received, but when it is, oftentimes it's received in such a manner that it's like so refreshing to everyone that frequency just rubs off on them. It switches their vibrations a little bit, you know. So through our own embodiment and getting out, being uncomfortable, infiltrating all of these areas in your truest expression is how we're going to do it.
Which is perfect for you, kind of used to always being the quote unquote like fish out of water or whatever.
Man, yeah.
And I mean, that's how literally everybody asks the same answer. It's the same thing I did. It's like, you can't not speak about it. That's just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But understanding that everybody's going to accept it. Because I used to almost get mad if people didn't accept it. So then it just turned into like this whole thing.
I'd only be mad at my sister and my family. Like,
but the embodiment is the answer, right? Because now look at your sister. She just did it. And she had a great experience, right?
Yeah, man. It's to think that little girl was with me through all of my shit too. Like the compassion that it has. Like she's a warrior. She's been through it too, you know. And yeah, to see her have these little shifts into alchemize. She's dealt with a lot of death of her friends. Honestly, there's probably 20 plus people from our high school in a 10-year period, maybe more than that, probably way more than that have passed away from opiates. And yeah, she's dealt, a lot of her close friends have, and not there's other causes too, but she's dealt with a lot of death. And so having her share experiences to where she was comforted in their death, knowing that they're where they're supposed to be, was so. And she sang her ass off. I never heard my sister's voice like this. It was just incredible. I never
she just
heard
felt it.
Bro, she was a procrastinator. No, we had to twist the arm a little bit, but damn, when it came out, I can't remember the song name she sung, but damn, she killed it. Just to see this come out of someone that you've never seen before all your life, and it's never been performed. You know what I mean? Like, just knowing, seeing one of the chains or the links come off of it, you know, like, you know, fly a little higher, fly a little freer, know what you're capable of, reclaim your powers, let God express itself in you versus you restricting it, you know.
I guess that's the answer to my question too, is the arrogance for me to think that I'm going to be the one that does it versus just allowing God to just do it. And just being an instrument. And that's the answer. And it's like, all right, cool. Just have fun with it, enjoy it, don't hide it. Don't force it on people, don't hide it. They'll find it when they're ready, and then they'll sing their ass off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like finding their own song. You gotta let them write their own song.
Song of the tribe. That's what we're doing.
Because for people like yourself and myself, I'm sure it's the same. It's like I just experienced this life-changing thing, and I feel so much closer to God. I understand God at a much deeper level, and I got to know God. Right? Obviously not know completely, but like know God. Why the fuck would I not share that?
That's why we're here.
Yeah. And then it's like, all right, cool. I also have to understand that not everybody's perception is the same right now. So in particularly like in the Black community, as you brought up, and one of my other friends, Kevin, has his own kind of community. Like, what is the pushback to the quote unquote spiritual community from your interpretation? Obviously, from your
money, man. Our relationship with money. That ego and appearance and like clout. It's always about how you're perceived versus how you feel or what you're doing. And so many people just are worried about how they're perceived. That fear of judgment, fear of.
Whereas they'd probably make more money if they felt better.
Bro, it's all the energy transmission. Like it all comes as you calibrate. You're not accepting no less. Like you're more valuable. Make yourself. You're able to solve more problems because you've worked through yours.
You've worked through problems.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, man. But yeah, I believe that. You know, growing up in poverty, and I'm in Kennesaw in the burbs, but a lot of people had it way worse than me. But we never had no money. Like never spend money leisurely. So you look at money as God, monetize everything. People be, and I feel that many young men in the Black community look at that these initiations as like you could go rob somebody and come up, and then you're initiated into being a man, versus let's go have a mushroom ceremony and feel a relationship with God over this trying to find this relationship with money. And that's just from my perspective, man. Like I've monetized everything in my life. Like,
and then if you go back to what you said before, like with the music and stuff, obviously it's overly simplistic and stereotypical to generalize all rap like that. But newer rap, obviously, I mean older rap too, right? Like I love Wu-Tang, but like Cream, Cash rules everything around. Like
Cream, get the money.
Dollar bill, like
money over everything.
Yeah, money over everything. That's such a terrible fucking thing.
Exactly.
And I love Lil Wayne.
That's how we grew up.
Yeah,
That's how it's like thinking money will buy happiness. Like I know that shit with certainty now, and having broke problems having money problems is better than broke problems.
For sure. Like Maslow's hierarchy. You need money. Yeah. And it's hot. So that's something that hopefully, some musicians start to influence.
Man, there's, we have the Kendricks of it. There is some young talent, man, I really believe that's coming out that's awakening, that's understanding what media has done to the programming of our psyches. And I looked at it as too.
Did you ever listen to Simba or La Russell?
Yeah, you put me on both.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
La Russell,
I like both those guys. They're pretty like deep, I think, intellectually.
Yeah, man, it's so much brilliance out here, and everybody's so
like J. Cole. Obviously, he's not new, but like I love Joyner Lucas and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's but still just the overall messaging, like the overall feeling of feel good, be you expressed. Like I think it's coming around. I think it's gonna be. Or we're knowing though. We're not standing for no bullshit no more, bro. We're not letting the same frequency be the only thing that programs our kids.
100%.
And like that's just
That's
what it
what it
is.
is.
Yeah, like we know this shit. We know the games y'all pulled on us. It's
Yeah.
not working no more. Like we can't do it. Like the guy Major, I don't know. He put me on the sound frequency thing, like the hertz and the vibrations, and there's so much shit out here, man. That really is these fine tuning elements that one little tweak could have changed. You know.
Dude, it's wild too. Like, so Danielle's getting really good, and she works with Mike, the sound healer, who obviously I'm with all the time, and he unfortunately can't make it today, but he's normally doing sound in our ceremonies and stuff. Showed Danielle play the sound bowls, the gong, the native flute. It's wild how it doesn't, music or sound doesn't have to be in a written structure like jazz, you know? Just the sounds and those frequencies, you just feel it. You're like, oh, I don't know what that is, but I like that though. Yeah.
It's just,
I like that though. And what's cool is everybody can do that in their own way if they just feel it. And it really makes a huge difference.
For sure. Yeah, we numbed ourselves so much to allow yourself to even feel the vibrations. And for me, like, I didn't know shit about no sound bowls. And it's like, it's going to open up a new portal for you. Like, I didn't know what the hell, but it did. I tell you what. And, like, music celebration is so embodied in our culture, like, in everything. Like, the music of, you can walk outside, it's music.
You said ayahuasca was like a symphony inside of you.
Bro, like a music festival.
A
like
festival or something.
in my body, man. Like it was my ancestors. I could just feel, and like my grandfather played every instrument known to man, organized the parties in the war, and that's how he met my grandmother would organize the clothes for the soldiers to wash with. He was the party man, played every instrument. My mom grew up singing, playing the piano. Like all of us, though, any culture you come from, like the beating the drums around the fire has been part of the lineage, or you know what I mean?
Plants,
like,
stories, dancing around the fire, and music are like tales as old as civilization.
Yeah, exactly. It's in us all, and like I've been chasing this sense of ceremony via music festivals and concerts since birthday bash in high school. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I've been chasing this shit, so using the recreational drugs, and like I've had experiences though where I've like felt God. I felt God at EDC Orlando one year on LSD, and it just really like.
What was that like?
The presence of it really felt like I was an energy bumblebee, just teleporting to different pockets and could hear people's thoughts and like really just. It was like we could move through life so smoothly, not get through any and everything with beauty and grace, and we just get in our own heads and fuck it up. But I wasn't alone, man.
Yeah, it's and that's the difficulty, right? And that's the beauty of this game in the physical realm of Earth. Is figuring out how to navigate and honor the anger and the things that make it a little clumsier, because that's real. But then still moving as smooth as possible with it. And
embracing the chaos.
Yeah. Macabre Brooks, shout out. Yeah. And then
we need to hear that, man. We need to get. Yeah, he'll be on here soon.
He'll be on here. Yeah. Macabre getting you on here, man.
Got to.
And then another thing you said was, so how did ayahuasca alter your view of success?
Man, it's just understanding that who you are, what you are. It's made me stop chasing money, like to value all the experiences that I've had and create more of them, and like it generate these communities. I love people so much, man. I'm just a people pleaser person, but that's my gift, is to be so enthusiastic about going into all these, allowing myself to be me. You know what I mean? Like,
which is why you and I are talking about the side project right now, which will be one of the main projects eventually.
Oh, it's gonna be dope.
Yeah. We'll save that for off camera because I don't want to put it out there yet. Yes, but yeah, it's gonna be something. Yeah. So that's definitely interesting. So, was it immediately with Aya, or did you do Aya before LSD, or did you do LSD for like?
LSD. I've had these senses, but it was always in that recreational place.
Yeah.
Really given like I had a relationship with all these other psychedelics, so it's kind of hard to, like, make amends to that. Like, okay, I promise I'm serious now. You know, it's not. So like going to the jungle, getting out there, really, it was an initiation. to test myself. And then it's like, oh yeah, that guy that you've been having conversations with all your life, that's who you are. You talking yourself out of doing everything that you say you're doing, that's that bullshit. Like, that's you blocking your blessings. Like, you can predict the future if you do what the fuck you say you're gonna do. It's that simple. Like, it's that simple, bro.
So I had a DMT experience where, so I wasn't on DMT. I was sober the night before, and it ties into one of my spoken words. Actually, the one I did at Aubrey's, where it's like, I know God respects this because when I asked God for help, I didn't ask for a Lexus. I asked for a guide, and I was given a Pegasus. So
the boy got bars.
That's right. So that night, Danielle was actually with me. I was sitting down, I was praying I pray before I go to sleep every night, and then I was laying down, and all of a sudden I saw myself flying out of the Matrix on a Pegasus. And I was like, what the fuck? I gotta smoke DMT tomorrow and figure out this. And it was like, I smoked, and it was like, how do I achieve, and it was like, greatness was my Pegasus. And it was like, how do I achieve greatness? And for me, God, everybody has their own archetype of God. For whatever reason, mine was a Native American grandfather. And I was floating around this giant Native American grandfather head, and he told me to reach greatness, you have to honor your word. Then I was like, okay, makes sense. Because if you do that, you can fly. Like you can.
Right. And there's so much distortion out here already. Like, don't add to the bullshit. And like, but we're at a time where society can turn all this information into wisdom at fucking rapid speed. So we have the tools, and these avatars are primed and ready for it. But damn, we got some severe reprogramming to do.
But luckily, with epigenetics, we can do that in one lifetime. We don't have to wait 7 generations.
No, it's here. Heaven is here right now for you to claim it, for you to be it.
And I think the way to do that, right? How do you find somebody heaven? You find it yourself. That's the answer. Is you embody it. And it's fun, and I appreciate people like you, like Jacob, like the people that are in my tribe, in my circle, because it's not fun to do it by yourself.
Bro,
I mean, it's fun, but it's much more fun with others.
Bro, I'm telling you, having this tribe, this community, bro, is a dream come true. And I've been waiting to be in my fullest, like so many of my friends, like my boys for life, like I can't even fuck with them because I'm not on the surface chilling no more. Like, yeah. I wanna know what's like. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's elevate. Let's continue the frequency. Like, and yeah, just feeling that now. Like, I've never been talked in terms of energy now, but everywhere I go, people are like, your energy, and I feel that you give someone your attention and your love, like that's the currency. That's what they feel. That's the energy. We all can tap into it, and like looking at people in the eyes is such a foreign thing now. Like, it's just crazy.
So Carlos Vivas, who we just interviewed the other day, he's the one that had like a near-death experience, met Jesus, was saved by dolphins. When he was in heaven, he had a life review. And the way you're judged in your life review is you sit down and you re-experience every interaction. If I want to say that this is how he said it, basically, but you re-experience every interaction you have with somebody else and how did you make them feel, but you're on the opposite end. Right? And like,
that's dope for me. That's huge. I've been saying, like, what you choose to see in someone is just a reflection of what's in yourself. Like, I was driving down the street, a homeless guy selling art. I rolled down the window like, bro, that shit is dope. You know what I mean? Like, and I was literally like, I bet ain't nobody else driving by, like, rolling down their window to talk to you. You know what I mean? And it's just, yeah, when you choose to see that beauty and it's reflected back to you, you're not scared of that other side. You know what I mean? Like, death becomes an ally because I know that I have the opportunity to make so many people's lives, just that second, that instant, to feel that vibration of what's that's like. Like, that's all I could do for you, you know? And if it don't resonate with you, it don't resonate. But I'm still gonna spread mad love.
100%. And it said that, like, there was clairvoyant, somebody was telling me about this clairvoyant that they were speaking to, and they said that basically, like, the Gnostics would call it like a demiurge, or not like the ultimate God, but like the next level, like the second down, is this basically supercomputer, almost, you could call it, that keeps track of the score. So like everything you do has an energetic resonance, and it shoots up, and then like there's a tally. right? And you go up there, that's how it shows you. And it's like, what is your tally?
And that just made me think the body keeps the score. The book too is like, yeah, it ain't even no evaluation process. It's all stored in those memory cells that we got. You get up there and it's like, damn man, really? Like you wasted all this? Like all this? It's just like, okay. I believe you still
You're going back.
You're going back to Earth. Yeah. You're going back. Like, oh.
Try to do better this time.
Oh, I don't know about.
Do you think when you reincarnate, you are in the same bloodline, or do you think you go into a new one?
This is a topic that I have never discussed, so I have no fucking idea. Like if you come back as a tree, because you do, or if you're in the bloodline, or how. Like me knowing that I am my grandfather's, or my dad told me recently too. You're living my life, and like it was just like the realest shit ever. Like yeah, he don't know how to express no emotions. He didn't know how to do any like move like this, and like always aspired to do it, but just had it in his head. You know, it just stayed in that conversation in his head, and now he gets to see me living those conversations that he's having in his head all his life. It's just like, okay, I feel you. Like I feel what that means. Like I am you, you are me. Like so, I do think your spirit, that essence, continues on through you. Yet I don't know about, but I don't think there's just this judgment day where you either go to.
No, I think everybody goes to heaven. Some people get there earlier.
Perfect.
Right? Because love clearly directs the world, despite like all the bullshit that goes on. Love wins. Like everybody knows that. Like every movie, every story, everybody's done a psychedelic, everybody's ever had anything. Love always wins, and it's not love eros. It's agape love. Which
What's
is
the difference?
So in Greek, there's 7 forms of love. So in the Bible, whenever they talk about love, about 90% of the time it's agape. So which makes more sense because it's like God's love. It's agape, and it's an understanding and an empathy that doesn't keep track of right or wrong. So that's why in Paul's book, it's like you can do all things, but if you don't do it with love, it doesn't count. Basically, like if you're doing it but you're still holding grudges, it doesn't count. Right, where Eros is more passion and can hold grudges. That's a form of love. Agape doesn't have grudges or scorekeeping.
I like that.
And then almost every time Jesus says love, like, you know, what are the commandments? Like, if there's one commandment, like, love your neighbor as your own, or whatever, however he words it, the word he uses is agape. Which is why, like, with the land and stuff that we're creating and manifesting, we're calling it agape.
Beautiful.
But the one that everybody thinks of love in English is Eros, which is like a passion. The Greeks, actually, which is funny, is that was their least desired love because that one was guaranteed to fade at some point. It didn't mean you couldn't have that and then transition into others, and you couldn't transition back. But if you were in Eros, again, this is my understanding of the literature in the Greek, inevitably, like, the passion is going to fizzle, and then it'll recharge or whatever. But like agape is forever. So
infinite, unconditional.
It's funny too that one of the most disservices we've done, in my opinion, is we translated Aramaic and ancient Hebrew to Greek. So the original New Testament is written in Greek. Greek is the most literal of all languages. They're the founders of logic and rigor. Aramaic, every word has about 20 different meanings. And it's all in the interpretation. So we took the most fluid and tried to isolate it. And that's why I think some of the verses are like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense to me. Just man trying to control, trying to articulate something that can't be articulated.
Yeah, and let's even say they did it on best intentions.
For sure.
Because Greek was the language of scholars when they translated it. So they put it in like a scholarly language, but it just so happened that it's like arguably the farthest away.
I feel language is distorted regardless.
Yeah,
so
I love your
like it's just you the feeling. I don't have the fucking vocab to express what this has done to me, and that's my gift too, to put it in layman's terms. Like I'm not.
How do you think primarily?
I'm a rational guy.
No. This is one of my favorite topics because it hit me when I was in college. I think 99% in words.
Ooh.
And I thought everybody else did, and then I found out people think in pictures or feelings or things like that. Like when I tell myself a story, I don't picture it like something that happened. I literally tell myself the words of what happened.
So the picturing is new in the visualization practices that I've been implementing. So I know that's not my default. I would say it's words, but information over. Like I'm trying to absorb everything. So, but yeah, it's definitely not pictures. I never thought about it. I don't know.
It's an interesting thought.
But
though,
yeah,
right?
and that's just me like not in tune with my,
No.
like,
But most people don't think of that.
Yeah.
I found that out when I was in grad school, and I was taking special ed classes, and I was thinking about people with autism, and I was like, I wonder if they're, because this lady Temple Grandin, they made like a movie about her. She was like really in tune with animals because she thought like animals, and like she didn't really think in words, and I was like, oh shit, oh my God, I wonder how other people think. I wonder if people.
Yeah.
And also, that was the time when everybody thought I went crazy. So, like, I'm seeing colors all of a sudden. And I started analyzing how I'm thinking. And I was like, oh, shit. And it really had me get intrigued, I guess is the best way to put it. And that's when I got really into words. And I was like, okay, if I permanently think in words, let me, like, really study words.
Oof.
That's when I got into, like, etymology and origins. And I was like, all right, I'll work on visualization and stuff, but let me just get good at what I'm good at.
Oof. And that's the creating, brother. Manifestation.
Yeah.
Words are creative, not descriptive, man. Like, you're creating magic over here, bro. I'm so grateful for it.
For sure. Oh shit, Birdie had an hour. Any last things you want to kind of
It's just
leave?
a start. We just getting started, baby. It's fucking great to have all these brothers, all these allies, to brothers and sisters, and to see all our dreams align. Everyone, we're all the same. We all got it. We are all manifestations of God. We just stop blocking your own blessings. Get uncomfortable and let's get it. We need everybody's expression in their fullest. And the Calvary's got your back.
Yeah.
All in for all life.
All in for all life.
Let's get it.
All right, my man. Well, that's Free Game Productions. Another episode. Thank you to Jacob. Thank you to Andre Carmack. And hopefully you guys got something out of this.
Much love.